Brought to you by Podcast City Network.
And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell podcast. And tonight I'm going to have two guests on the line. I'm going to have pro wrestler Mick Bronson, co-owner and promoter Chris Weaver of Brawl, Bloody Rage American Wrestling League presents second annual Iron Mike Sharp Memorial Show live at the Williamstown Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Stay tuned and let's hear all about the card and much, much more. Tune in, fans. Let's talk wrestling. Good evening, Chris and Mick Bronson. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you, pal?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on with you guys?
Not too much. Just trying to finalize everything with the card coming up and get everything figured out with that.
Yeah. I know. Lots to go into the show and, final preparations and, I just posted a picture. Did you guys see that picture I just posted like 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, with you and the executioner.
Yeah, but originally, with the man, Iron Mike Sharp,
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that was the brick school, yeah.
What's that?
I said that was the brick school.
Actually, that was actually at a signing down at
okay.
at a signing at like an old flea market warehouse in Brick. They had it and then it closed down. But I used to actually go to Iron Mike's for matches on the weekends with my dad. $5 a show, and I would see Nova. I would see the 1-2-3 Kid. Yes, that's right, the 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac, and a whole bunch of others, Classy Freddie Blassie, the list goes on, Malice of Malice from the AKA The Wall from WCW, and the list goes on and on.
Oh, they had so much great talent that came out of the
and Bobby Piper. I cannot forget about Bobby Piper.
Yeah. And Bobby Piper that's our current world champion right now.
Ooh.
And Bobby was very helpful to me when I first started out in the business.
Oh, wow.
I actually, my buddy Antonio, Tommy Force, and me, we were the first of the Asbury kids when Mike had got the new location.
Yeah.
After he had left Brick.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, we never had the opportunity to train at the Brick location. But
yeah.
In Asbury, we didn't have any weekly shows or anything like that.
I saw video online of that school. It looked really small, or was it really small inside? I couldn't really tell by the picture, the video online.
It had a low ceiling in the front. The back ring, It had a really high ceiling.
Right.
But they shared the top of it with, when you went up the stairs, there was a boxing, gym when you first walked in.
Right.
And then as you went to the left, there was Iron Mike's desk and then the ring from the Brick School.
Yeah.
And then as you went to the back, a guy by the name of Mr. Lucifer, who used to run New Jack City, used to let Mike use the ring, but he stored his ring there.
Right.
It was actually an old ring that Macho Man Savage had, which was all wooden plank suspension.
Yeah.
Bounced around, made tons of noise, and had a 4-foot high elevation. So instead of that extra foot made a difference when you fell out of that ring.
And the ropes, if I'm not correct, were blue.
Yes. He had
always have blue ropes.
Eventually, he changed them out, and I remember Mike was one of the old school guys that never used the steel cables. He always used the old school rope and taped it up, which, was prone to snapping at times.
Yes. Yeah, but small world, isn't it? Like I grew up watching, like going there and hear a lot about Iron Mike. I always talk about him. I tell a lot of people about him, because he's.
Oh, he was such a great guy.
He really was.
It's such a shame his career didn't turn out different than it did, and it really shows you the politics of professional wrestling. Yeah. Because he had told me a lot of things that would go wrong behind the scenes. And to be honest, I don't know if you know too much about it, but I know that George Scott really wanted to do a lot with him. Yeah. And George Scott, when he left, Jim Barnett took George Scott's place. And to be honest with you, Jim Barnett wasn't very fond of Mike's dad. And it kind of was reflective, in my honest opinion, and Mike's opinion too.
Yeah, but he had a long run though. He had a good run, and it was.
Oh, he sure did. I just look. I'm really glad now in retrospect because. Yeah. I came along at a time when I started with Mike. It was March of '96, and he was very adamant about. At that time, even though it was kind of known, the internet wasn't really a thing, and it was kind of you didn't really, you didn't break kayfabe. Yeah. And I started to realize now it's a really. I mean, I was so close. He's one of my best friends I ever had. Iron Mike. I can never say nothing.
Oh my God, he was so nice. He'd bust your chops, and you would say hello, and he was great.
He's such a great guy. And like I said, I think now with the internet and with fans being smartened up that, wrestling isn't fake. No. But it's predetermined. And I think people now are really starting to appreciate Mike's work ethic and what he did accomplish. And I think he could have done a lot more if given the opportunity because the early part of his career, I mean, he was phenomenal, and he was phenomenal when they used him as enhancement. I mean, he would get put in there and make guys look good,
I mean, look who he wrestled. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Tito Santana, British Bulldog, The list goes on and on.
Yeah. He wrestled the top of the tops, and I know that he even said that, too. A lot of times when younger guys came in and they wanted to try to really get them their experience and to be walked through a match. And
actually, and I remember watching the WWF. I was just digging through some YouTube videos, and I saw him versus X123 Kid, like an opening match.
Oh yeah, when they first brought him into the Fed.
Yeah, so that was his prime. That was the prime of both. Yeah, of what do you call it? X-Pac. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's so amazing though, isn't it? Small world, like people. People really don't.
It is so crazy.
I know.
Like I'll do the full circle of stuff. I mean, I was even surprised. I was showing some younger guys in the business that I said, if you really look up, I said Iron Mike actually worked Ultimate Warrior when he first started because they really wanted to get him experience. And I said, and they were like, oh wow, Warrior must have crushed him. I said, no, not really. The match went about 10 minutes. And people really don't believe that. But it was I think a Spectrum Wrestling thing that wasn't nationally televised. I think. If I remember correctly, I think they were still calling him Warrior Dingo.
Yeah. Oh, but really? One of those things yeah. People don't realize that, like the nostalgia was when it was the WWE the logo was the original logo and back then we knew it's amazing. It's just amazing. But you guys are going to have a memorial show in honor of him, and that's awesome.
We appreciate that. Yeah, me and Chris are trying to plan it out. We got a lot of guys that were students from Mike's, which is cool. Yeah. And always when back in '98, I had always wanted to be a wrestling promoter, but when I finally got in the business in '96, I had mentioned it to Mike, and around 1998 we started. He really helped me. It wouldn't have happened without him. Right. And he was very big into trying to give younger talent a push and things like that. And at this point, Mike had been injured and was retired, so we made him the commissioner. Right. And that's what we're trying to do now. We got a lot of Mike's former students and graduates of school, and that's where Chris comes in because I'm an old fart. I mean, he's a young guy here. Yeah. So he's very friendly and up on what the current product is and the younger guys. And we're doing a lot of matches of, the older guys versus the younger guys. And, trying to carry on, the tradition and the legacy of that. And
of course you're on the card. And of course you're on the card too, so there you go, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually very happy because I'm teaming up with my little brother and also teaming up with my friend Chaos, who also went to Mike's school.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife Stace, she had an injury to her knee, but she used to wrestle. But she started as a manager and then wrestles. She'll be at ringside.
Oh,
but
cool.
then we're wrestling, 3 young guys. So, luckily my brother's young and in shape, so he's got to pull the rope for me and Chaos.
I was telling Chris, too bad I couldn't attend that because I got that H2O show coming up, the deathmatch tournament. I would have loved to go for that one, or when.
Oh, it'd be great. You're always welcome at the shows. Me and Chris, it would always be great. You're always welcome to come.
Oh, thank you. We'll talk later. We'll talk later because I might want to sponsor and help and do some other things. We'll talk later.
Oh, we really appreciate that because with indie wrestling, me and him, we stress a lot about it. It's, there's a lot of stress, financial and emotional.
This is, Mick. This is why I like to help my part by getting you guys on, and this is the way to do it. Podcast is like the next thing now. I mean, it really has been launched, and if you look at,
I agree with you.
You know what, but you know what, you don't really hear like the indie wrestling. They talk WWE. A lot of the podcasts now really focus on WWE product. And see, I like to bring everything into perspective of wrestling that we grew, indie wrestling to WWF's old school product, new school product, like the NXT. I'll talk about NXT. I'll talk about like New Japan. That shit's awesome, No,
we appreciate you giving us the platform and the opportunity to do this because we were.
Yeah.
This is like you said, it's an emotional thing for me because, like I said, I was extremely close to Mike, and so was my wife, and he was just great.
And Mick, I think the last time I actually saw you was at that Jersey All Pro show. I remember you had to do that battle royal or something. Yeah.
Which one?
The one in the airplane hangar in Newark.
Oh, okay. The battle royal one.
Yes.
Yeah, they dusted off all the old original.
I know.
Pro guys, and when I got the call, I said I can't miss this.
No.
And then I even laughed for and I didn't even know that King D actually told me something really cool that in Charity Hall, which is really crazy considering the great spot in history that Jersey All Pro has this.
Yeah.
That I actually participated in the very first gimmick match for Jersey All Pro.
Oh shit!
In Charity Hall.
Oh wow!
I was the first gimmick match. I was like, wow.
Wow. So Fat Frank really, you launched to help launch it. Really.
Yeah. I don't know how good the match was from what I remember.
No. I wonder if they still have it. I wonder if it's still out there. I bet you it is.
Oh, it probably is. I worked a guy who unfortunately he passed away. His name was Mars.
Yeah.
But he used to have the Freak at ringside, who is still working.
Yeah.
Who's still buddies with me, and he's going to be at the Mike Sharp Memorial.
Oh,
and
cool.
He's actually going to be in a match with Magic, a fatal four-way.
Yeah.
And Magic was actually the guy. If it wasn't for the Icon Magic, I would never have ended up at Mike's.
No.
I mean, I met him at a show, and he was just great, and told me to go check out Mike Sharp's. And my wife at the time was my girlfriend. I was 75 miles one way, twice a week for years.
Right.
But I had so much fun. Some of my happiest memories of my life was up in that beat up old building in Asbury. It was really great.
Yeah, I could picture it now. Like just the dust and it's just everything all dusty and
It was. I used to joke to people. I said, I think of myself as his Rocky, and that's my mighty Mick. And I said, and this gym looks just about as bad. But it was a great gym to train in.
And the other school, actually, the brick school was really small. It was really small. It really was. Because my
like I said, I've never been there, but I've seen tapes of it that my friends in the business who would show me the tapes of the shows. And, I mean, they would really fill that up with a lot of fans, and the matches were phenomenal.
I know, and I could never get in, and I could never get my hands on any of that. I was trying. I'm trying. We'll have to make some calls, maybe, Mick. I'd love to.
I could definitely make some calls because I know for sure I do have friends that
have some video.
And actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with them,
right?
But Big Daddy Bad, when you worked under a different gimmick name that was actually another manager's name, if you didn't know it, Diamond Mike.
Probably.
Used, but
probably, yeah.
Yeah, there was a Diamond Mike in Triple WA, and
yeah.
It was a rib somebody had played on him. They told him to use the name. It was another guy that was working. It was a rib on him.
I would love to.
He works as Big Daddy Dad, and Rob has actually sent me some of the tapes years ago.
Or probably Bobby Piper. I'm sure Bobby Piper has some too. I would, you know what I mean?
Bobby Piper not only has that, but I know that Bobby also has every match title change for GSWA, and he kept very, very detailed records.
Man.
I know he'd have to go digging for him, but Bobby does have all that stuff, yeah.
Oh, man. You'll have to have Bobby come on my show. We'll have to hook that up soon.
I'm sure he would be. I'm sure Bobby would be happy to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I know he would.
Yeah. But, yeah, so this card's stacked, man. You got a lot on the card. It's going to be good, you know.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, Chris has been very instrumental. I'll put this together, so I really want Chris to go over everything with you if you had any questions.
Sure.
I'm trying to get this here right here.
Sure.
I'm trying to make sure I got everything in front of me.
Yeah. I'm looking
and that's the great thing. You said podcast. Thank you for the platform of doing this. I was telling people, because I'm 45 and I started in '96, and I was telling people back when you wanted to get work in those days, you sent a VHS tape to a PO box.
Right.
Yeah. Then you waited for the phone call. And now with the advent of YouTube, I mean, it's just so easy to be able to make all these connections. But like you said, it's really nice of a guy like you to take this opportunity to help.
Because you know why? Because I'm a local guy. Come on, you think about it. I'm local and I travel to a lot of shows all over the country almost. You know? Like, really.
And that's why we appreciate it so much. You know, we're sharing
like the West Coast, East Coast, North Coast, all these in promotions all over. They need to get the recognitions that they need to, you know? Small little...
well, thank you. And God bless you for doing it for us, because we do appreciate it, man. Me and Chris, it means a lot to us, pal.
No problem. Bring on more bring more talent on. Bring more talent. You're more than welcome. You know, we'll set something up at a future show, too, where we could, I could actually sit there and do a podcast during the show and commentate a little, you know?
We would love that. We would love that, because, me and Chris are very dedicated to keeping this thing going as best we can. And like I said, it's something that I stopped promoting for a while because there was like illnesses in my family, things were going on. Then when I went to get back into it, it was like Mike passed away. And then I kind of backed away from it. And the honest thing is, the reason why we did it is Mike's birthday fell on a Saturday, and my wife, my little brother, and I said, this is when we really got to do a memorial show for Mike.
And you picked a great building to do it in. I mean, that place is awesome. The H2O Hall is awesome. The Kevin Hogan Memorial Hall is means a lot to a lot of people, you know.
Oh yeah, that is an awesome building. And the first one we held in Cherry Hill High School. But the thing with Cherry Hill High School, it's so much harder holding in the high schools because of the limitations.
Yeah.
And really, the league's Brawl, Bloody Rage American Wrestling League, and there's a moratorium on it. There's match stop the match.
Yeah.
So really working with Matt Tremont and that location has been really such a blessing, because we're able to do the mixture of the old school wrestling plus the hardcore death match and try to give the fans variety, and use the older guys and the younger guys.
Yes, that's the way to do it. And hopefully you'll be back there for more and more shows, because that's a good location. People don't realize.
Oh, we definitely plan on it.
Yeah, because he likes to show up. Bringing new guys, bringing new promotions to the help, that's what he wanted. He wanted to bring any kind of fed to help, promotion to help make that building something special for everybody else to watch, And
fortunately we're very lucky as we have a good rapport with a lot of the other promoters, which is good. Yeah. I don't think we should all be competing, and most people don't seem to really want to do that.
No.
Unfortunately, you always get some guys that go rogue on it, but I mean, we got people from different organizations here, which, Chris could go more into with everything.
Yeah.
And, we got some things with that. So, Chris, what's your input on this, the card here?
All right.
It's turning out to be a pretty good card. Like he was saying, the old school and the new school, it's a reform of Brawl. It's a new era of Brawl, and I think it's going to be a lot different.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Chris. But how you doing tonight? Pretty good, Chris?
I'm good.
Yeah, I know. I'm good too, so there you go. Yeah, this is, I'm so glad I finally get you on. We were like, hiding behind the curtains, me and you would type behind the screen,
Yeah.
We would type behind the screen of the Facebook world. People never knew who we are, fans of wrestling, and it's amazing. It's amazing, but yeah. So this card really.
Exactly.
So you guys really got something special going here for Mike. The Mike's. This is the second annual, actually, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So what guys made you want to do? I know you wanted to honor him, but I see there's a trophy. Looks pretty pretty sharp trophy. You want to?
Yes. It's for the 6-man, and we also have. It's going to be the first annual Iron Mike Battle Royal, so we'll have a trophy for that too.
Oh wow, two trophies, man. Jeez, where's my trophy? No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike was a fan of that other trophy, the big 6-man. He thought that was cool.
Yeah. Oh really? Yeah. But what questions you got for me? I got tons of stuff for you, Chris. Come on, let's get going here, right? Got tons.
All right. Fire away.
Fire. I know. Let's So I don't know how already. Well, I don't have to ask Mick already because he told me Mick. Mike Sharp trained him, so right? If I'm correct, Mick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Iron Mike. Yeah, fully trained. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what was the first? I mean, what was? Let me ask you this, Mick. Well, do you remember your first match?
My very first match, yeah. It was actually, the way I ended up getting it was pretty crazy. Is I sat there and I was, going to Mike's every Monday and what's the Thursday, and I was just addicted to it.
Yeah.
One of the first ones there, usually Antonio might have beat me, but we would sit there till 3 a.m. after we're done training. Mike would just tell psychology and stories and just every aspect about wrestling, and then just always make you laugh with the funny ribs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been training. I mean, this is the old days where a lot of guys get into matches quick.
Mm-hmm.
I started in March, and then around November, Mike gave me a call and said, "There's an opening for a show." Mm-hmm. And I said, "When is it?" And it was a Friday. And he said, "It's tomorrow. Can you make it?" I said, "I'll make it if I had a broken leg."
Yeah.
And I got to work with a guy, Andrew Bafumo, who at the time I was wrestling as Tundra.
Yeah.
And he's a really good friend of mine. We worked very well together. Mm-hmm. And Andrew had actually started later after me, but he was a real natural, and we worked well together. Mm. And I always laugh because the audience looks phenomenal when you see the tape. Mm. But on the same card, Bam Bam Bigelow, Nikolai Volkov, Jimmy Snook, and Mike Sharp were booked. So I always tell people, no, they weren't there to see me. I was the curtain jerker. But it was a huge crowd. Yeah. And a funny piece of history and trivia about that is I said to Mike, "This is our lucky night." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I got to go in my pro debut." And I said, "You got to go over on Jimmy Snuka." And he said, "Son of a bitch, kid, you're right. I've never went over on Jimmy Snuka." That was the first and only time. But it's that match of Mia is up on the whole show's not. The match of Mia's up there. My little brother posted it. Mm-hmm. But it's bittersweet when I look back at that whole show because Nikolai, we had spoke to Nikolai within literally it was 10 days because I kept it on my phone because I was so upset. He said he was a little under the weather with sinus infection because we had actually planned on bringing Nikolai, who's very close friends with Mike, in for the memorial show. Mm-hmm. And it was nice because he's a very sweet man. And it was like when I called him, he called me, Mike Hurricane. I thought that was, that choked me up a little bit. I know Nikolai would go on ahead too. Uh-huh. But I mean, when you watch, Jimmy's passed away and, Scotty Bigelow's passed away and then Nikolai and Mike. So, I'll be honest with you, it's a tape I'm glad I have, but after all this, I don't really, too emotional to watch it. It's pretty tough, but
now,
that was,
but then you grew up, but that wouldn't, like, what was your first event, like, going as a fan of wrestling?
Oh, a fan, the very first event I went to was my pop had a title insurance company, and he had actually bought advertising for Cherry Hill Fire Department. Yeah. And I will never, ever forget it. It was at the I can't think of the name now, the Catholic High School where the career post is at in Cherry Hill. Yeah. I think it's Camden Catholic. Yeah. And it was an NWF event, and I saw Mad Dog DC Drake and was blown away. Okay. And I didn't realize until many years later that the baggy pants tucked in the boots and the black tank top, I and wearing war paint, I unintentionally ripped off part of Mad Dog's gimmick.
You know what? Mad Dog actually, that DC Drake actually, if I'm correct, in 98 or so, 7 or so, I was a fan. I actually went to the Ocean Ice Palace for NWF, and I saw Bruiser Brody and Abdullah the Butcher, Chief J Strongbow Jr. Yeah, I remember going to a card at the Ice Palace.
Oh, wow. So that would have been back in
with the Fantastics. Yeah. The Fantastics were there. And Dr. D, David Schultz.
You know, the funny thing that you should say that, too, about that, because the time I went to my first event, it was around 87,
yeah.
I believe, that year.
Yeah.
And I remember the program that had the ad book that Dad had put the ad on the cover. They had Wendy Richter. Mm-hmm. On the back of it, they had Abdullah, picture of Brody, Stan Hansen.
I believe the Samoans, the Wild Samoans, too, were there.
Yeah. This one, my dad had inside track with the Cherry Fire Department. At the time, I looked at it, I popped as a kid and thinking, I'm going to get to meet Bruiser Brody, and he was a really great dad.
Oh my God, man! I got to see him inside the steel cage. Oh, I was excited, dude. It was great. It was great to see.
I'm glad you had the opportunity to see them.
To see
my pop.
Also to see a strap match. I think I saw that first ever leather strap match too. I think with Chief J Strongbow too. So.
Oh yeah, the strap match. Yeah, they did all those gym matches. But yeah, the night we went there, but I was happy because I became a huge lifelong DC Drake fan. But my dad, when he bought me the program, I'll never forget that. He looked at me and said, "Son, I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Wendy Richter and everybody on that program, you're not going to see them here tonight."
No.
Really, why not? And I didn't understand what the same program for was. Like, I mean, the Fire Company bought a smaller show.
Sure.
I mean, that's so great. I never had the opportunity to see Brody perform in person. I would have loved that.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw. Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it's on YouTube actually. Go look, type in Ocean up.
I have watched it.
Yeah,
I have watched it. It's funny we were talking about first events, how fate plays into things.
Yeah,
I'm 45. Chris is 30, and we realized
I'm 41. I'm 41. I'm 41. So
you were even younger when you got to see Brody, which is cool. That's the funny thing about it is my wife and I used to walk down Oregon Ave to go see ECW shows.
Yeah,
and you can see a much younger version of me sitting in the front row with a full head of hair, handing out frying pans. And I said to Chris, that's the craziest thing that we'll run a wrestling company together. It's fate because your little ass was in the building as a kid, and I was up in the Knoxville, early 20s.
Wow. I'm gonna have to try to look up ECW pics now, videos, see if I see you.
Yeah, a lot of people go, is that you in the front row? Yeah. I know if you watch the Gilbert Funk match, even though we were wise up to the business, Stace was sitting between me and my friend Dan, and we popped like how people popped when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
We knew what it was about. We were wise up to the business, but when Eddie Gilbert won, we were probably two of the only people in there jumping up and down like idiots.
Oh, wow. Eddie Gilbert actually wrestled. Small story. I'll tell you what I saw. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, was that?
I said, go ahead. I was going to say, I actually saw Eddie Gilbert and Mick Foley as Cactus Jack at the Toms River High School in a hardcore match.
Wow.
In a hardcore match. And trash can up in the bleachers. The tumble down the stair, tumble down the bleacher steps. Like, yeah, original. I mean, that's like an error, So that's how I got it.
It really was. I was going to say, when you first started, was that ECW was the first time you ever went to a show?
No, it was actually WWF when I was real little, probably like 3 or 4, and don't remember it at all. Going to WWF and then same thing, just transitioned over to ECW and loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I never got really... Well, actually, the cool thing about ECW is I tell a story. I'm sure you've heard... Chris, you've probably heard it on my podcast millions of times. But I've actually... I worked in a dollar store, and this guy comes in. It's Balls Mahoney. I don't know who he was at the time. I didn't know who he was, So that's how I felt. He's like, yeah. And people are like, this guy's he's a wrestler. I'm like, no shit. And then I started to get hooked on the ECW scene, after that, and became good friends with Balls, and then Chris also, And I'm looking at the chair right now, signed by Balls, like one of my vintage.
Well, that's a hell of a keepsake. That's awesome.
I know. But yeah, it's amazing, man. Like, you don't know who you meet in the world, you know? And I remember, like, next door was a Big and Tall clothing line store, and my friend was the manager over there, and actually Rocco, Public Enemy, would get their clothes there.
Oh, wow, that is pretty cool.
That is pretty, like, yeah.
Yeah, I met him as a fan, and that was actually back when he was Cheetah Kid, and he was just always such a down-to-earth, nice guy, and he was always very nice to me. I'm still friends with Big Al 911, and that's somebody who's been talking to his son, who works as Dominic Truex. Yeah. And he used to be 411 on our shows. He used to walk his pops out to the ring. But, you know, he's getting his knees worked on. But we're definitely going to be bringing him back. But, yeah, one of the first shows we did, it was really nice. Ted Petty just came to the show to hang out with everybody and hang out with the boys. It was a whole bunch of nobodies there except for Iron Mike Sharp and 911. And he was just so polite to all of us. Yeah. And, you know, there wasn't a career to be had there by any of us at that point. And looking back, I still don't think any of us went on anything big, but you know, we're having fun. That Al and Mike were the stars, and he was great. He treated us all like, you know, all like we were legit workers, even though we're just these kids, you know?
That's amazing. Yeah. So, Chris, you said WWF, huh? You really can't remember, or what's your first event you went to as a kid? Can you...
Oh, not at all. No, my dad took me when I was like 3 or 4, and then went to a couple after that, and then just transitioned to the ECW and just kept going to that until its dying days.
Right. Wow. And then much more, I'm sure. Lots of feds.
How we used to go and we were both talking about the audience thing. I don't know if he knows about where they tell you to move.
What?
Oh, when they're fighting in the crowd, and they would say about get all the audience over here. Yeah. And look what went on to you. It's pretty funny because nobody.
What's that?
I'll let you do the honor.
No, okay.
What was that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, me and Chris actually remembers it. I started becoming a fan of going to the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance shows, the TWA shows. And when they folded, I was devastated. I was a huge Buddy Rogers fan. Our family had tickets for the Buddy Landell, Buddy Rogers match. Never ended up happening. Right. So when ECW started holding again, to me, it really wasn't Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, but to me, it was Tri-State Wrestling Alliance holding again when ECW opened. And just what a phenomenal amount of business they did, where me and Chris remembers a little kid, me and my wife Stacy would be at the show, and we'd be sitting front row, and they would actually tell the fans, well, if you bring your tickets tomorrow for the TV taping and the stub, you can get in for free. And we thought, well, that's a pretty good deal. And then when the crowd, because there was no internet and they didn't have the really big TV exposure yet, they would actually say, if you're sitting over in the front rows in these other two sections, please all move to the two sides of the ring. And so many people were irate because they had these front row seats, but it was to, make them look like there was more people in the audience. Yeah. But by word of mouth, in a matter of time, it had such a cult following that they didn't have to give away free tickets. They didn't have to say to move to two sections because the matches were just great. It's just, it was at a time when there wasn't really an internet in the early 90s and things like that. But when I mentioned that to Chris, he said, oh, God, I remember people were really screaming and cussing because they didn't want to leave their front row seats. And I don't blame them. I just got smart to the idea after the first time of go sit over by the doors and to the right of the doors. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I tell this story, too, about, growing up, Christmas time in New York City. My sister took me for Christmas to Sunday Night Heat, right? At the store, at the restaurant, when it was the WWF restaurant. And the ladies, you walk around the little merchandise store, and then the restaurant's in the back. And so we go and sit down at a table. Well, we put our names, we say we want to sit down and have dinner. And the lady said, they're going to be taping tonight. I'm like, what? I'm going to be live on TV? Uh-oh. So I got lucky. I called my mom, too. Mom, I'm going to be on TV. Please tape this for me. And I was behind Michael Cole and Taz. And they were, doing their commentary for the show. And I didn't realize it was worldwide, going global. I was like on TV live. But Christian and Edge, it was like the angle with them. And Taz, I guess, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin and Booker T in the supermarket. And so you could hear me and Taz were like
also talking about like matches during like Ric Flair. We're like doing who's the figure master of the figure 4, Ric Flair. You know, like we're just like wooing. It's funny, and also like at the end of the Booker T, you know, where he goes checks out. You can kind of hear my voice in the background. I said paper or plastic at the checkout counter. It's funny.
That is so cool, though.
But then I was able to get it remastered. My friend hooked me up and got it remastered for me. I know. So it's like DVD keepsake, you know.
That's one thing. I have boxes and boxes of VHS tapes of every Brawl show on tape. But some of the real treasures that I have is we would set the camera up with the trade at Mike Sharp's, and as the camera would roll, Mike would just tell story after story. And I've talked to my brother about that because we really want to put those on DVD.
Yeah.
Because, you know, tape eventually does erode, so that's actually cool to add it remastered.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly supposed to do it. I just have, I'm stuck in the 90s.
Yes, I think we're still, I know. I think I still have like a lot of TNA tapes. I think ECW, TNA, you know, when it was first launched, you know.
That was just it's such a good time in wrestling. And me and Chris were talking about that too, where it was, I think the thing that's neat about how getting into the business, I mean, I have to be honest with you, once I really got into this, if you ask me anything about the early 90s back, I could sit here and tell you all about Pat O'Connor and all this stuff because I grew up with all the videotapes. And my friend Kurt would go to Japan and bring me all these Japanese VHS tapes before like the internet days.
Yeah.
But I just didn't start to, like, I stopped following the current product and I really fell out of the loop with it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I always say to people is, you know, it's like, everybody, unless you were a celebrity or you were known for something else like football or something, all of us were really marks at one time or another. And that's what got us into the business. I just feel bad now with a lot of the younger guys. I'm out of the loop. Like, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I got to definitely really get back into the loop. But
you need to watch you need to like to watch the indie stuff, like the new Japan, and you know it's like awesome. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Chris, am I right, Chris? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That's subscribe. I just think I'm such an old fart. Right. I kind of didn't like the overemphasis on like the storyline, soap opera type stuff.
If you
know what I mean,
Chris, I'm sure you know about like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, you know, PWG, and I'm sure that.
Yeah, and they put on a great product.
Oh my God,
we have a friend that goes out to the shows all the time.
Do you? Oh, really? But have you ever, Mick? Have you ever seen footage of that? Oh my God, it's really good.
Oh yeah, watching on YouTube.
Ton.
Never seen any live events.
Yeah.
I think the last time I was in California when I was 12.
Yeah. Or I'm sure you've heard of Ring of Honor, you know, Mick.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know.
It was mostly, I think, when the Monday Night Wars came around, I really just wasn't following it that much.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really tell you an exact reason why. Like I said, I think I was like not too much into the showmanship storyline type stuff. Like I just wasn't as much into that. Like I got into wrestling because I loved the Von Erich Freebird feud.
Oh my God, those feuds were the best.
Potato City,
yes,
you know?
yes.
And it's like it made you believe, even as a kid or if you're smart, you know. And unfortunately, because we're going to conventions, my family and I got very close with Terry Von Erich, and he was just a sweetheart of a person, just such a nice man, you know. So that was like a dream come true that you get to be friends with his childhood hero, and that was the thing. Me and my brother, if it really wasn't for honestly that and Abdullah versus Brody, I don't think my brother and I ever would have wanted to get into wrestling.
No.
That's what really got me into
I mean, I think that's, you know, also as a fan of wrestling, I mean, like when I went to a convention in Pennsylvania, you know, I met Dominic DeNucci and Bruno, you know? I mean, like, and then like Harley Race, and Harley Race too, and Dory and Terry, you know? Like, and I think actually Jim Cornette, when he wasn't a dick, but and you know the Midnight Express and shit too. You know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. You know, you look back and now you see all these guys. I think even Sandman was there too. But I remember that convention. Bill Apter was there, right? And of that Pro Wrestling, you know, Pro Wrestling 1.
Oh yeah, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, yeah.
And there was a Q&A. I've never done those before. I wanted to go sit in on it, you know? And you know what? I got up on the mic, as a fan, I didn't know what I was going to say, but Mick Foley was up there, and I was like, Mick, what was it like falling off the Hell in a Cell versus the Undertaker? He was scared shitless.
I can imagine.
Yeah. It was like, and then now, that was like the WrestleMania weekend. Like, that was the big weekend, of Hell in a Cell, and, I'm like, wow. I got to meet Mick and at a good timing when he was, doing that. But I've met him before, like I said, early on in his career,
Yeah, I've never worked a show with him or anything like that, but I've met him as a fan when he came around to my high school.
Yeah.
And I've met him on several occasions. A very personal, sweet guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the guys, too, sometimes I thought that as a kid growing up, and there were certain wrestlers, I won't even say who they are, that I idolized as a kid.
Yeah.
And they were WWE superstars, and I had their action figure, and when I met them, I was like, oh, God, I wish I didn't meet them. I was like, out. But then, like I said, there's other ones like Nikolai and Mike Sharp I met as a fan and got to be friends with. Kerry I met as a fan and became a friend before I was in the business. Chris Candido I was very good friends with, and I used to give him bootleg Japanese Kiss concerts.
Oh, really?
And it was kind of one of those things. He came out to the ring with Charisma. It's an obscure Kiss song.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you're a Kiss fan. He was at my high school.
Yeah.
And we stayed friends the whole time. He was a good guy.
Yeah, I think I still keep in touch with Johnny. He's, his brother. His younger brother.
Oh, yeah.
I don't talk to him recently. I gotta get in touch with him. I'm trying to drag him to the shows, man. Get him out there to see some wrestling again, I know he's got a wife now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's something, he's somebody, get out wrestling. That's somebody we'd like to use. You were talking about Bill Apter.
Yeah.
And at the Icon show, Chris and my wife Stacy and my brother Barbado, we were at that. And we went over to Bill Apter and got his book, and we were talking. He's just so nice. And my brother had actually published a Brawl magazine, which we goofed on him about it, but it didn't make money, but people liked it, and it was very well done. After even said it was well done. But we had actually talked to Bill, and that's something me and Chris are working out. Once we get things up and rolling, we're going to get Bill to make an appearance. We spoke to him about that.
Oh, wow, that'd be awesome. Oh, man, I would have to be there for that one. Definitely. Definitely. I would love.
Oh, yeah, and he's such a nice man. He was saying he would do, like we were asking, like, what's your fee to come out? What would you do for this? And he just so polite, down to earth, and was just like saying, I'll do your commentary, I'll do interview segments for you. And, I mean, as being a kid growing up in the 70s, like, I was born in 73, so I got into wrestling also. Yeah. Growing up in the late 70s, early 80s with the PWI magazines.
I know.
To be interviewed with Bill Apter is, like, better than if I met any of the presidents. Yes. And I really don't mark out for anything in the current product at all. But something was like, a videotape with Bill Apter, I would probably burn it. Well, see how old I am. Videotape. I burn that tape out.
Burn it.
Burn it immediately, because I'd be playing it there and going, I got interviewed by Bill Apter. They could tell me they wrestled John Cena, and I think John Cena's a great worker, but if you told me interviewed by Bill Apter or work John Cena, I'm stuck in my 14-year-old mindset. Yeah. I want to get Bill Apter's interview.
Yeah. It's crazy. The world's, it's changed. It's changed now,
Yeah.
Like we said, that me and Chris know the current product is amazing now, Like, we know.
Yeah, it really is. Chris was saying that, like, some of the guys on the indie scene were talking about, well, I was saying some of the people here that you set up booking. I don't know if you want to talk about any of your buddies here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, like you were saying, we got Chris Volta and Johnny Yeager. I know you know who those guys are.
Yes, I do. Yes.
They always put on a great match, and we couldn't be more proud to have them on our show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just actually, a guy that would love to come out. We were talking. I had him last night. His name was Peter B. Beautiful. He would love to come out.
I'm friends with him on Facebook. I think we reached out to him before, but he was booked.
Oh man, I have to reach out to him again. I'll have to, because he was just saying he would love to come to East Coast again and wrestle. I was like, or wrestle with Matt Tremont, But we'll see, Time. And another guy that wants to come out is Neil Cutter. Neil.
Yeah, he's really great. We'd love to have him.
Yeah, we sure would.
Oh man, if I could put some brains together, I bet you we all could come up with a fun card.
We're all open to the suggestions. Trust me.
Well, we could talk privately on that, not on the podcast, but me and Chris keep it. Me and Chris know what's going on. Like me and him are like brains of good wrestlers. Like who can become in the world out there, and humorous wrestlers too. There's a lot of funny guys on the scene. Like it's amazing. I talk to a lot of these low guys in the out west. They just want to come out. They want to wrestle. I'm trying to get this one guy. He's a manager. He would love to come out. I need to get him out there to you guys somehow. Even if
we're listening because, like I said, we want to definitely. We always keep the veteran guys around. We keep it. Like I said, like how you're familiar, Bobby Piper. He's our current world champion.
Yeah.
Magic, the icon Magic. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but
yeah, I know him. Really great guy. He's a great guy. I've seen him wrestle millions of times.
Yeah, he very much is. Like I said, he got me in the business, and then we're going through with different guys that like CB4, and they were Mike Sharp graduates, and like I said, the Freak, and then we're bringing, like I said, a lot of old school versus the younger guys. You know, and it's a good mix, and a lot of times, too, we'll put two of the veterans in there together and have them run something, and then get some of the young guys in there like we did the last show. We were very happy with that. At the Blood on the Bricks, we had a lot of young guys debuting with the company, and they went in there and put these incredible matches on. I mean, it's kind of a joke we've actually heard from several people, and I don't take it as an insult, and neither does Chris, where a few people actually said to us, wow, that show, the Blood on the Bricks, was the best show that no one saw.
Yeah.
And we like to say it was because of the weather, and we'll make ourselves feel better and say it was because of the weather. But that may have played a factor in it. It was flash floods, but, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What do you say, Weaver?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's wild. But, Chris, so you guys, so this card is all set. It's finalized, You're getting working on the details, right? It's all set, right?
Oh, yeah. Right now, our current card is we got Blackout against the Gunners, which is Ty Reno and King Blackie. We got our world champion Piper against Cletus.
Yeah.
We have the Fatal 4-Way for the American title, the Icon Magic versus the Freak versus the Death God, Chris.
Now, also, you're going to bring in Ron, oh, gosh, what's his name? Oh, gosh. No.
Rob Marsh?
Yes, correct.
Yes, Rob Marsh against Rebecca Payne in a good old faction South Jersey death match.
Wow, my God, that's.
We're so happy to be bringing those two in. It's going to be a great match.
Like I said, I wish I was going to be there, Chris.
And another funny thing we got here is Ricky Rocks. I don't know if you've seen it before. He's hilarious, actually. Ricky's really hilarious. And he does this Headbangers Ball segment. He's interviewing one of Mike's graduates, a good friend of mine, Corey Klein, who used to wrestle as he's our commissioner now. And Mike was actually, Iron Mike was our first Brawl commissioner.
Right.
But we've been joking about it because Corey, even though he's retired, he's got a real chop on him. We've been ribbing Ricky that you're really going to get it during the interview.
Oh, man.
And we're kind of laughing because it's part work, but that's going to be. I'm going to be looking through the curtain watching that one.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think. What's your vote? These ones here, Chris. What else is there?
Oh yeah, we got the CB4 against Jimmy Lyon and Mark Angel for the tag titles.
Jimmy Lyon, the Concrete Jungle King.
Oh yeah. He's well known in that building.
Yes, we know. Him and Mark Angel. Him and Mark, of course. We can't see enough of them, those two guys, get enough of them in the action.
Exactly.
They've made their names known.
They work great together.
It's a shame that, those guys really are not, looked out for good cards, promotions, really.
Yeah.
I mean, those two guys really put it out there. I mean, we've seen it, Chris,
Oh yeah, they give their all every single time. It's a real shame other promotions aren't picking them up and letting them do what they love to do.
Yeah, even when we had where a lot of guys were throwing something in when you didn't have a good crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be blatantly honest about it. And we did at the last show have a really great crowd. I mean, we had a great crowd, but it was a small crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys were there like it was in front of 500 people.
Yeah.
And they just tore the place apart. And even like friends and family of like Stacy, me, and Barbados actually said, "Wow, those guys were really good." And they didn't follow indie wrestling. And when they really saw them, they were very impressed by it. That was really cool.
No, yeah, because I've seen Jimmy actually, in VOW down in Virginia, and he can really work the crowd. He knows, but it's a shame a lot of talent, the other promoters aren't picking him up because he's one of those guys that's going to be he needs his name out there and be recognized, like we said.
Exactly. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
But I would love to sit down with you guys and plan something. Maybe we should really think of a card in the summertime, or summer's coming quick. I'm sure you want to get some more events and stuff.
We would definitely be interested in that. Like get together, have dinner, and just sit and talk. That's about what me and my boy Weaver. That's all we do anyway. Sit and bullshit about wrestling all the time.
Yeah.
Or harass each other on Facebook.
Yes. Me and Chris are always on Facebook, so we know what's going on in the current product.
You've probably seen several of my harassing posts to him.
I probably have. No, we actually picked on Dirtbag Dan tonight. I remember that Dan. Chris, he was like, we were picking on Dirtbag, Pokemon Go or something.
Oh yeah, every chance I get, I love messing with Dirtbag Dan. Or I'd like to call him Dirty Brown Paper Bag Dan.
Yes. One of the youngest kids that I grew up watching, man. Scary, Him, he was the local guy that just was going to shows, tear it up.
He's a really good worker. When last minute we had gone through. Mm-hmm. My brother and I were supposed to work. We're the American Tag Champs, and we're supposed to work the World Tag Champs, which is CB4. And Misdemeanor, he wasn't able to make the show. Menace had car trouble. Mm-hmm. So we just threw together Dirtbag Dan. Never had met the guy before in our life, and we stuck him in there with the Freak, who's an old buddy of ours. And I even had family come up and even send me to Barbados. Like one of his nieces even said, "How much have you trained with that Dirtbag Dan guy?" And he goes, "I just met him tonight," because they were that impressed with Dirtbag Dan in there, and my little brother being Ricky Morton, it was thrown on his head.
Right. But no, he's all over the place though. I'm so glad Dan's doing good things. Yeah. He's everywhere, like Pennsylvania to Rhode Island. Come on, that's awesome. He's out there. Yeah,
he's going to be on the other 6-man team. And we're looking forward to working with again. He's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah,
he got a good crowd reaction. He was really aggravating people.
That's what he likes. He likes that. He gets that attention from the crowd, and he was getting
his jollies from it. The more horrible names they called him, the more he got into it.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, this is really great. This interview, wow, we lasted a long time. Holy shit.
Well, thank you so much. Me and Chris really appreciate it, and we're really going to try our best to make a go at this, But indie wrestling's hard, but the one thing is that we're very dedicated to it, so we're going to try.
Yeah.
And we were even, God forbid, we even said worst case scenario because the love that we all have for Iron Mike and how close our family was. So every year there will be an Iron Mike Sharp Memorial card. There definitely will.
Absolutely.
One of the saddest things about it, though, is something that really hit me and really choked me up is, especially with the recent passing of Nikolai, so many of Mike's friends have either been very limited in appearing or have passed away.
Yeah.
And a lot of his teams now, because the school's been closed so long, a lot of them have really retired.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm fortunate that I have a ring set on my backyard. We leave set up except without the padding or the ropes and the canvas because of the weather. But if I didn't have that, I would have faded away from it too. And it's like, my brother wanted to try it, and he really enjoyed it. He started late in his career, but if you check his match, he's a very good worker, but very humble. And if he gets into an experienced guy and they just take care of him, he can go. You've seen it, didn't you, Chris? Barbados can go along with anything. Really, really talented. I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him, kid builder. But but it's a shame when we started to try to really book. Like I said, so many people that were really, really close with Mike, and like I said with Nikolai, that was a real kick in the gut. We didn't see that coming, obviously.
No, we all didn't.
To talk to him, it was such a shame. And like I said, to talk to him literally 10 days before, he actually said to me, "I feel like I have a sinus infection. I don't feel so great."
I mean, I think you remember he just did a signing at Matt's store in Berlin too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I know.
And that was a rough day at the last show. We had to do that with the whole thing with Nate Hatred and Nikolai Volkov. It was like they had both performed in that building, and you think they're gone, and you just realize there was something I posted that. I'm a big Bonanza fan, long story short, but especially with Michael Landon growing up in Collingswood, I'd go over to his memorial and all this stuff. But I just saw a really thing that really hit me where he just said, basically, like, whatever you want to do in life, do it, because there's no guarantee how many tomorrows you have.
No.
That was what me and Chris were talking about, because it's just like, if this is something we want to do, we're going to try our best. And if we eat our shirt, then save up some money, and when we get enough, we'll come back and hopefully not lose our shirt.
That's it. But I think
we're dedicated or stupid. It depends how you look at it.
Do what you love to do best, is what they always say. Do what you love to do best, and, give it the 100% and show what you guys have, and you know what? Maybe things will grow. Like I was saying, I could probably help. My brain could work. Me and Chris could probably come up with something really cool,
Well, I appreciate. I will tell you something. I seriously saying this. The wrestling business, and it can be such a pain in the.
I love to get involved. I love helping out any way I can. It's
we appreciate. I say this.
Chris knows. Chris knows how I try to reach out to a lot of people and tell what's.
Yeah. No, I mean, I what I was going to say. Like, my wife noticed it, and so many of my friends noticed it too. I haven't had this much fun with Brawl like I did at the last show in years. Honestly, I haven't had this much fun at a Brawl show since Iron Mike was involved.
Yeah.
And that's, really saying a lot about the group of guys we got around us. And, it's a thing. And it's like I said, we were here with all his advice doing this and getting these younger talent and all the connections he has with them that, like I said, I'm an old guy. I'm out of the loop, but I'm actually having fun again doing this, which says a lot, because it became a thing of, the last two shows at Cherry Hill High School, that was that was a brutal looking I took on those, But no, I mean, I had so much fun at the next show. I'm really the last show, and I'm really looking forward to the next show, and especially because it's for Mike. It's very special and near and dear.
And if and more shows to come, so you don't, lots.
Well, definitely, that's what we're shooting for.
and I mean, I'll contact you after this call's over. How's that? In the podcast.
We would love it. This is something we want to do. And like I said, brother, we really, really appreciate your help and your support with doing this. Cause it's something that's the thing, is you need a good team to get a successful product. No man has an island unto himself. Nobody can do something all by themselves.
No. And I know a lot of talent that's well hidden too, we don't know. People are amazing. Like Chris knows. It's like me and him see what's going on the internet. We're like, we don't look on Facebook, and there's some new wrestler out there making a name for himself, and it's like, wow, we're blown away, right, Chris?
Really? Exactly. Just too many to even name.
Yeah, I know. We could go through the alphabet of wrestling books, and it's like, wow. Is there a dictionary of this? The thesaurus or whatever, the Wikipedia. But guys, you want to plug your the show, the Iron Mike Memorial Show? Feel free. And Mike and Mick also, where fans could reach you also.
Oh, okay. You can actually find me on Facebook, and if you put in Jersey Hurricane Mick Bronson, I have a like page, and you can also find me as, I believe it's Facebook/Jersey Hurricane Mick Bronson, and the like page is Facebook/The Jersey Hurricane Mick Bronson. And you can also find us at Facebook/brawl-wrestling, all one word, and the Twitter account is twitter.com/brawl_wrestling. And I guess you want to plug the card here, my man?
It's going to be at the H2O Wrestling Center, November 3rd. 7 great matches, all tickets $15. Right now we're doing VIP tickets, which are $20. It's a reserved front row seat, early entry, picture with all the talent before the show, and an Iron Mike shirt.
Very cool. Very cool. Everybody should go out and check this out and support the product, and support wrestling. Like we always say, support indie wrestling.
Definitely.
Guys, I want to say thank you for being on and have a good night.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And I will touch base with you in a few minutes after this call's over. After I finish doing my final saying, my final podcast links. I have it automatically set, so I don't have to say it every time. But all right, guys, have a good night, and thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Good night.
See you.
That was a really great interview tonight, folks. Two great guys in the business of wrestling. Mick Bronson has been around for quite some time, and he might not be the guy you see on WWE, WWF, TNA, the new products. He's old school. I mean, he loves just wrestling, and he was friends of Iron Mike Sharp. We were talking all about Iron Mike Sharp because he was one of those guys that was always seen at shows in the north. The northern east coast of New Jersey, even the west coast, I'm sure, all over the place. And, man, we're going to miss Iron Mike, but they're going to have this memorial show in honor of him coming up November 3rd. No, wait, is it November 3rd? I better double check one more time. So I don't get this screwed up, fans. Yes, Saturday, November 3rd at the H2O the H2O Wrestling Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. And bell time is at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Bell time 7:30, excuse me. Fans, thank you for listening, and stay tuned. Deathmatch Russell podcast. We'll be back on Sunday with my guest and another guest. It's going to be the owner of Dog Pro Wrestling, Lawrence, and a guest. Could be a wrestler. So stay tuned, fans. Listen to that at 8 p.m. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. And tune in to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media. DeathmatchRussell.com. Follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32. And on Facebook. Facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Find me on Podcast City Network at PodcastCity.net. Facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share. And on Twitter at PodcastCityNet. You can hear Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.